He was once a classical music rebel who ditched Mozart for heavy metal. But when Marco Latogna picked up a conducting baton, he was hooked. He's worked with Europe's top musicians and is now the new Chief Conductor of the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra. Tamara Glumac reports.
It's a long way from classic rock to the classics. But that's the journey undertaken by the new Chief Conductor of the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra.
I went to play in a rock band when I was 16. We had a rock band and we played pretty much heavy metal and Led Zeppelin and the Doors and all kinds of bands like this. And then later on I played a little bit of jazz and a little bit of piano bar.
It was a chance encounter with an orchestra 28 years ago that made Marco Latogna change his tune. He was studying piano in the Slovenian capital Ljubljana when a friend suggested he join a conducting class.
With the conducting, I thought that there's nothing else but classical music. Before it was everything else but classical music. I started to learn conducting. And after 2 months, he gave me the opportunity to conduct a concert with the school orchestra, and that was like a drug. Once they put me in front of the orchestra, I was in heaven. I cannot explain. It was something. I think it's like a drug.
It's an addiction that's led to a stellar career. Latogna has conducted a host of European orchestras, including the Vienna Symphony, the Munich Philharmonic and the Hamburg Symphony. But it was the sounds of the TSO that drew him to Hobart.
There were a lot of recordings from the Tasmanian Symphony, and I actually didn't know where it was. Tasmania sounded, could be, everywhere in the world. I just knew there was some exotic location.
Twice the crescendo, third time's no crescendo.
He considers the city home to one of the best small orchestras in the world.
First impact when I came here, I was really, really surprised by how tight this orchestra is, how tight the sound, how tight the rhythm is.
It wasn't just the orchestra providing strong impressions. Latogna was drawn by Hobart's Antarctic and maritime connections.
Just standing in a port and looking, facing south. That was one thing, and then when you turn around and you see the mountain behind you, it's even more impressive.
Thank you.
The 50-year-old is a keen yachtsman who's looking forward to watching the Sydney to Hobart later this year.
I have started with sailing about 8 years ago, and very soon you understand where are the capitals, sailing capitals of the world. So you pretty much know then that one of the sailing capitals of the world is Hobart.
Latogna's career was one forged from humble beginnings. Music wasn't in the family, but as a young child he was fascinated by the neighbour's grand piano.
I was tiny, and I remember that I couldn't actually see what is on top of the piano. It was just I loved the fact that the keys, when I put my hands on the keys, this furniture would make some noise. Many years later, my parents asked me if I would love to play the piano, and I said, of course, yes, I would. And then they saved a lot of money because it was a big effort to buy an upright piano.
At first, he thought his parents' sacrifice was in vain.
At 11, I so much regretted my decision that, I thought because they made me practice every day. And when you're 11, you want to play ball, you don't want to play the piano, so that's the usual story.
Given his early rock ambitions, it's no surprise to learn Latogna's not afraid to be controversial. In the late 1990s, he invited a heavy metal band to play with an orchestra in Europe.
I organised a concert with them, chorus, organ, four soloists and the orchestra. And that was the opening of the European Month of Culture in Ljubljana, which was a big scandal. All of a sudden, I got new friends on the roads, and I got old friends wouldn't say hello anymore to me, because it was clearly something that I have done which divided the audience.
He's not ruling out more crossover programs and is keen to introduce more Australian music into the orchestra. All that will make for a busy year for this international conductor, who'll split his time between Tasmania and Europe, where he remains the music director of the Strasbourg Philharmonic Orchestra.